Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Autism Our Story podcast. Today, I have the opportunity to chat with Dana Tucker and her son Zane, who is a non-speaking autistic young man who communicates through pointing to letters on a letterboard. Today, we're going to be talking all about Zane's spelling journey and a little bit about his autism journey. Zane was able to answer questions that I sent ahead of time for his portion of this interview, so he will be sharing his experience as well in this interview. I am so excited to get to it. Dana and Zane, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you guys. I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, and we're going to start from there.
Hey, I'm Dana Tucker, and this is my son, Zane. Zane is 25, and he has been an open speller for about 5 years, but open with me for about 2.5 years, and we're excited to be here.
Amazing. Yes, I'm excited to have you guys. I couldn't wait. So, yes, I wanted to get right into it. How did you guys find spelling, and how old was Zane when he started spelling?
So we were introduced to the concept of spelling or typing by watching an episode of 2020 when Zane was about 8 years old. We saw a young woman named Carly Fleischman, and she was typing her thoughts. And I thought, oh my gosh, if this is possible, we have to investigate and find out how she learned to do this. So we were introduced to the concept of RPM through Soma. And my husband's parents live pretty close to her in Austin, in that area. So we flew out there when Zane was 8, and he worked with Soma and did amazing. He, right out of the gate, was just amazing with her, answering questions. And we were all just like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe this is all in there. Because he's always had lots of eloping behaviors and couldn't sit still. So for her to be able to get him to spell was just like blowing our minds. And we really didn't know anyone else who was doing this. So it was really a new concept. And so I even went for a week and took her parent intensive training class and came back, and probably one of the biggest regrets of my life is that I was not able to replicate what she was doing with him. And there were no prepared lesson plans. I worked full time. Zane has a twin sister who's also special needs. It just was so overwhelming to try to work with a young man who was moving all around the room. And I think that's the part that was missing in my mind, is I didn't understand the full body apraxia. I didn't understand the brain body disconnect, and the fact that he really did want to communicate, he just couldn't get his body to still. So we took a lot of time off where we didn't spell at all because I didn't know how to continue with it. And then in 2017, a practitioner for spelling to communicate moved to our area. And I found out about her, and he started with her and immediately just picked right back up where he was with Soma. And it didn't take very long. I think we saw her once a week, and within 8 or 9 months, he was open with her. And she did her very best to try to get me to work alongside of him. And I really had so much trauma from the early years of being unsuccessful that I would work with him some, but I just, in my mind, thought that it wasn't going to be something we could do together. I thought it was something he would do with his practitioner. And then when Spellers, the movie, came out, and was that 2022, 2023? And he was already open with at least 2 or 3, I think 2 practitioners at that point. So I could get limited responses at home, but we weren't open. And we went to a premiere of that movie, and I just cried and cried all through the movie. And I was like, how have I not really pushed for this communication between the two of us? And I felt like all the barriers came down. We got home, and that night we sat down at this table, and I put the board in front of him, and I said, we're not getting up from here until you spell with me. And immediately he was open with me, like immediately. And he said, I am in here. And I said, wow. I mean, I was just like crying. And I was like, I know you're in there. And then he said, what took you so long to learn how to spell?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like, Mom, I've been waiting.
I've been patiently waiting for you, Mom.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that he was immediately open with you and just was like ready for you to take that step. I feel like as moms, I can relate to you to where like I've not for a while I didn't know what I was doing. My son started spelling when he was 4. He's now 7. And I do feel kind of like I have a lot of regret because I didn't push myself enough. I feel like I lost a lot of time. He could have been open already. Yeah, I can relate to that. So how did it feel hearing those first words from him, like with you?
There's just no way to describe what it feels like to see your prayers answered in real time right in front of you. There had been so many people praying for us for so long and praying for him to be able to communicate. And it didn't look how we hoped it would or how we thought it would, but it still answered prayer. And we're still blown away every day by what he says.
Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm blown away with, just hearing from what all all the non-speakers I follow, the things they share. It's so insightful. It helps me understand what my son might be going through. So, yeah, it's always exciting to hear.
And
Right.
one thing that I do want to say, just, and I'll probably get in trouble, and this will probably get, not make the rounds through the spelling practitioners, but as a mom, I was under so much pressure to create lessons and to follow the protocols. And I feel like for us, it really broke the doors open when I just tried to have a conversation with him. So whenever I meet moms that are struggling to get open, I love to say, we just chat. Like, that's what worked for us. And I know it's hard if you're not far along in the process, but we were already there. We've been working on it for years, but we have a lot of those card games, those table topics that you get, and they like conversation starters. And we just do those around the dinner table. I have them close by, and almost every night after dinner, I'll pull a couple of cards and everybody will go around and answer, and then Zane answers. And it's just a great way to get the conversation going.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for sharing that because I know there's a lot of parents that might be struggling to get to that open part. I'm not there yet, but it's good to know. So this game, it's called what?
Table topics.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be looking for those for when we get to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good to know. I've heard a lot of parents that are at that point. They're doing great with spelling. Their kids are now, are more accurate, ready to move on to that next step, and they're just struggling with the getting open part.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just love, I've heard other parents that are like what you're sharing, they share the same sentiment as you, just like sometimes it's okay to deviate, to just follow what your mother's instinct is telling you, is right, or what might work for you and your child. It's good to have those lessons and that structure, but also if it's not working out, it's good to have to do what you feel is right, like what you're saying. Just having a conversation works for you. So that's I was glad to hear you share that part, even though you were thinking it's not going to, it might not make some people happy that are stricter. But yeah, as parents, it's good to follow your instincts because you know your child best, right? We know our children best.
Yeah.
So as he was starting to be more open with you, how did it feel getting to know your son for the first time in so long? What are some of the things that he was sharing with you that you maybe didn't know before spelling?
So I guess the thing that surprised me the most was how strong his faith was or is. We've always gone to church, and I've led Bible studies, and I listened to a ton of podcasts, and I wonder how much influence this had on him, because as I'm cooking or as I'm in the car, I am listening to these sermons or faith kind of Bible study kind of things. And he has such a strong foundation in his faith. And it just really surprised me how much he, forgiveness is a big thing with him. Like, he holds no grudges for how long it took me to spell or for us not presuming competence. And he has so much empathy for others and wants to advocate for all non-speakers. And also he wants to evangelize all non-speakers. He sees that as his path and his calling.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm excited to see what he will do, because yes, I feel like there are a lot of non-speakers that, are struggling with, because maybe they don't see the path with spelling in their lives. Maybe they need that keep the faith and trust, and he will be very helpful to them, even others that are not non-speakers, right? Yes, that's amazing.
So one of the things that was very surprising and consistent, he was so consistent in asking for this, was he wanted to meet a girl. He wanted to have a family. He wanted to get married. He talks about children. He talks about a career. So these were all things that he came back to over and over and over again. And so much so that I finally was like, okay, bud, I hear you. Let me help you. So I said, what if we create a video that you can kind of share what you're looking for, and I'll post it and see if anybody knows anybody that might know a young woman that would be a good match for you. So we shot that video, and he said, I am looking for a girl who loves me and loves Jesus, which is a pretty simple request, right? And we put it out there, and you saw it, and you connected us with a lovely family and a beautiful young woman, Ray, who is just a strong believer, and her family just feels like we've known each other forever. We are in sync with so many things, and it has just been amazing to watch God weave that together.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love seeing their story unfold, just how beautiful it is, and just how beautiful your relationship is with Ray's mom. And it's just beautiful. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It was really just meant to be, I feel like, and just God led, and just, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I remember seeing his video and just crying, because I was just like, oh, that could be my son. And my husband is like laughing at me. He's thinking I'm being too much. And I was just like, I don't know if I was being hormonal, but I was just like, I cannot go to sleep until I find him a girl. And so Ray, I had just done an interview with Ray's mom, and I had the thing that came to my mind was, I remembered she had said that Ray, has her strong faith, and also that she had said that she wants to have a relationship with someone and live with someone in the future. And I was like, that's it. And so, yeah, I messaged her, and I was kind of nervous because I'm like, I don't know what she's going to think, but I was just like, hey, there's this boy. He loves Jesus, but if Ray's not interested, please share with someone, because I need him to find his girl. But I'm just so glad it worked out. It was so just amazing. I remember going to bed feeling like, okay, mission accomplished. I can go to sleep now, because I was just like so worried. I wanted him to find his girl.
It was 3 hours from the time I posted the video until you had agreement and confirmation from Jennifer and Ray that they wanted to talk to us. So I was like, Lord, you worked quickly on that one.
Yeah, that was God. That was definitely God. And it's just been so beautiful seeing, just seeing their relationship flourish, and just how much it's just beautiful. And now they're talking about getting married. I'm excited to get to that when we get to Zane's portion. But yeah, that's so amazing.
It's something we never, ever thought could happen for him. And once they are able to express the desires of their heart after being silent for so long, at least for us, I was like, I'm going to pull out every stop to make sure you can have the desires of your heart. Anything that's within my realm of being able to do for you, I'm going to do it. So.
Yes. Just amazing. Yeah, I feel the same. It's just like whenever I hear them share their, for me, that was also like, you don't realize how much, because right now we're just excited that, wow, they found a way to communicate. We're not even thinking about, okay, what do they want to do with their lives? You know, like, what are these dreams that they have? I was just like, wow, I never thought that for my son, even. I was thinking, for my son, I don't even see 5 years from now. I'm just like, okay, I just can't wait for you to start to communicate. But I'm not seeing like when he can, I don't know what he's going to do for school. If I don't know, but I just had never thought of that they also want to have a life of their own with, you know, to meet someone, to date, to get married. So I feel like Ray and Zane are like paving that pathway for other non-speakers to see that it is possible for them to because I feel like others might be a little bit afraid to even verbalize that dream, to be like, I want that, but it is possible. It's possible. And so yeah, it's amazing. It's just a blessing to see what their story has come to be.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to parents who are thinking about starting to do spelling to communicate with their non-speakers, but they're still a little bit on the fence?
I would say don't wait one more day. It will be the very best thing that you could possibly do for your family, for your child, for their future. And it's hard. It is so hard. It's like learning another language, but it is 1,000 times worth it. The payoff is just do it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There is nothing to lose. Really, there isn't. But yeah, I hope that, yeah, those parents, you know, will see your story and feel encouraged to get to it. It is hard, but it's the best thing you could do for your non-speaker. So I know you had mentioned that Zane has a PANS and PANDAS diagnosis. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that diagnosis and how it has affected his life.
Yes. Oh, this has been the most heartbreaking medical condition that we've ever had to experience. And we had some really dark times early on with the autism. We had him in a really great place. We were able to go and do anything, even though the communication wasn't really in place. We went to Disney, we went to restaurants, we went and did whatever. And he was awesome. And then about 2020, we noticed that he was kind of getting stuck in loops and doing the same things over and over again. And it accelerated slowly. Like the onset was sudden, but the acceleration over the next couple of years, where he kept asking the same questions on the letterboard over and over. It was surrounding the days of the week. He would bring me the letterboard and it would be like Saturday, and I had to answer the question in the exact way he was expecting me to answer it over and over. We would go through the days of the week, the months of the year, and he might do that when he was at his worst, 50 to 100 times a day that he was bringing me the letterboard. And it was just physically exhausting, mentally exhausting. If we went out in public, and we're still struggling with this one, but he would just run up to strangers and charge them and touch them on their face. And we know he's 6 foot tall, and people just don't expect it. He looks normal until he charges you. And he would, even just simple things like going to church, he would get up out of his seat and touch all the people all around us. And it was hard to get out the door. Anytime we had to get out the door, he would have to take 10 steps forward and 3 steps back and 10 steps forward and then go touch something 3 times. And so it was obvious OCD behaviors. And it's one of the hardest medical conditions to treat, but it's even harder to get diagnosed. We went through several practitioners. We actually had a diagnosis, but went through 2 practitioners going through different series of treatments that didn't work until we found a doctor in Washington, D.C. that has us on a set of treatment plan that is working, and he is getting better every day. We're still not 100% there, but this wouldn't have been possible a year ago.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. At least you found a doctor that is helping you. So did they already know about PANS and PANDAS, or did you kind of have to do your own research and bring it up to them and be like trying to advocate so that they could affirm you? So how did that go?
Yeah, so luckily we were already working with, they used to call them Dan doctors. I don't know what they call it. They've got another name for them now. I'm like old school autism mom. MAPS doctor, is that what they call them now?
I'm not sure.
So we were already seeing one. So he identified it as PANS and PANDAS pretty early on. And then Zane completely stopped eating. So it became an emergency situation. He lost a ton of weight. And so he said, I've exhausted everything I know to do. You need to go see somebody who really does this for a living. So then we went to a nurse practitioner in our state, and she worked on him for 6 months, and she couldn't move the needle. So she said, you need the best of the best. So she referred us to this doctor in Washington, D.C., and we went there, and we're doing heavy duty treatment. He's still not really eating solid foods, but we're supplementing with nutritional drinks. And he just ate a really good dinner, and that's pretty new for us. So it's still something we're monitoring all the time, but yeah.
Well, I hope that he continues to get better and better. And I'm just so thankful that you at least found a doctor that is helping and have something that's working.
Yeah.
So this is the last question for you before we jump on to Zane's portion of the interview. But the last question for you is one that I like to ask parents at the end of the interview, their portion at least. What is something that Zane has taught you about life?
He has such amazing empathy for other people, and his heart for forgiveness. I just keep thinking about how wronged he was his whole life, how disregarded he was, how no one presumed competence around him, and he holds no grudges. He has forgiveness in his heart for everyone, and he just wants to be a evangelist for Jesus and share the good news that everyone can be forgiven. So
that's amazing. And yes, I love that. And I feel like that's something that I feel like all the non-speakers have. It's just that empathy. They don't hold grudges at all. They don't have space for that in their hearts. They're just loving. And it's such a beautiful thing to see and such a blessing because I feel like, we all are kind of guilty of some of the things that have happened to them, and to know that they are forgiving of us is helpful because we do hold that the guilt. But yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so now we can go on to Zane's portion of the interview. I know I sent you some questions and he has already answered them. And will you be playing them on a device or reading them?
I'll just be reading them.
Okay, totally fine. All right, so his first question, Zane, I know you can hear me. How has spelling impacted your quality of life?
Okay. I'm going to answer that in just a second, but first he wanted to say this. Nicole, everyone thinks your podcast is the bomb on the hill.
Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. People are talking about my podcast on the hill.
Evidently, you're the news.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I did not expect that. That's
He's over here grinning.
such an honor. Oh, thank you so much. Wow.
Okay, so Zane says, it has impressed upon other people that they can't continue to believe that autism is an intellectual disability. People treat me as a thinking person who's totally intact mentally and intellectually.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, just how he, he realizes that people have been taught to think that they're not really in there, that they're not smart. um, yeah, and I'm hoping that people will start to see as he shares and as other non-speakers share, that people will really know and see that they are really in there and they are really smart, and we have so much to learn from them.
Absolutely. That's why he wanted to do the videos. He'll come to me and say, can we do a video on such and such? And I'm like, sure. And turn on the camera. He wants people to know that he has all these thoughts and dreams and hopes. And
yes, and I know it is changing a lot of people's lives. I'm pretty sure there's sometimes a person that is like not already following you guys, that's like seeing it for the first time, and that's got to be like, wow. And and really life changing. And so yeah, I'm so thankful that he has that desire to want to advocate and want to really show people, because that's what we are. People sometimes need to see it, and it's so sad that they do, but that's the kind of world we live in. And yes, keep doing it. It's really changing people's lives. All right, next question is, please tell us about your relationship with Ray. I know you both plan on getting married and are planning for the future, so I want to hear more about that.
okay. He says, Ray is my true love, and I want to thank you for the introduction. He is understanding and patient with my poing, which is what he calls his unruly body, is his poing. And goes with the flow, super chill. Poing was strong last time we were together, but she manages me well. She is kind, beautiful, smart, and loves Jesus. I am so proud of her advocacy for spelling. I'm so excited about our future, and we are planning to get married and live in a tiny house in my backyard. Our wedding will be a celebration for all voice spellers everywhere. We want others to be encouraged that love is possible for others like us.
Oh my goodness, that is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. I just feel so, it's just like it's a blessing just seeing his story and Ray. It's so beautiful, and seeing them plan it and showing the world that it's possible, and it's gonna be beautiful. I cannot wait to see how the wedding and how it happens, and definitely going to be a celebration for all. So he calls them voice spellers.
That's something that Josiah Cullen wrote in his poem. So I read it to Zane, and he's used it a few times in his communication.
I remember seeing that, and I love that he likes that also. Yeah, it is I remember seeing that and thinking that is much better than non-speaker. And yeah, I'm hoping that people get familiar with that, and we can all jump on that and just start using voice speller. It's perfect. It explains them. It sounds better.
I like what Josiah said about, I don't want to be a non-anything. And I was like,
yes,
no, that's so smart. So true.
yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like putting a negative on you. And we don't really think about it. It's good when they share these things. It helps us. It gives us insight and helps us realize these things that we don't always think about. So yeah, I remember seeing it and loving it. I'm glad. I love that Zane is using it as well. So yes, yeah, that's just amazing. So they're planning on living in a small house in your backyard. That would be
That's
so
what
amazing.
we're planning. We're working with our local Habitat for Humanity to see if we can't make that happen. So we're pretty early in the process, but that's what our goal is.
Wow, just amazing. Oh, so exciting. I cannot, just always can't believe that I'm just a little part of this story of how it happened.
Good part.
Oh, thank you. It just makes me so happy. I love them so much. Next question. Please tell us about your poing and how apraxia affects your body.
Poing is my unruly body. It controls my movements and doesn't listen to my brain. It's like two warring personalities, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I am not in control, and it feels futile to fight it lots of times. I wish I could be in control now and then, but it controls everything I do.
Wow, such an amazing explanation for those listening. Zane calls his apraxic body hit point, and a lot of the non-speakers actually have named their bodies, which is something that I had not realized. But I think he's the first one that I saw that had named his body. But there is like 4 or 5 more that I know of that have named their bodies as well, because they see it as, different from who they really are. So that was an amazing explanation and just so insightful to help us understand how apraxia affects your body. Thank you so much for sharing that, Zane. I can imagine it's frustrating when your body doesn't listen to your brain. The next question, please talk about your PANS and PANDAS diagnosis and how it has affected your life.
So Zane gave a little insight into what it feels like to have OCD. He says, I can't stop. So one of the things he does is he'll stick his finger down his throat. And he says, I want to talk about sticking my finger down my throat. I can't stop myself from doing it, and I want to very much. If I don't do it, I can't relax. It tortures my brain outside the limits of my ability to control the action. Other people are grossed out, but I can't stop. So I thought that was some really good insight into what's going on in his brain, because we're like, please stop, please stop, please stop. But he has to complete that action. That's one of the tenets of OCD. So it's just like he's battling that all the time.
Wow. Yeah, that's really insightful. And so then does it make him puke?
Not that we've ever seen, but he gags a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's got to be so hard to have to deal with for you, Zane, and also for your parents, right? But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It really helps us understand. I'm hopeful that other families that are listening will be able to learn something, or it might be helpful for them to understand what their child might be going through.
Yeah. So the second half of that was, how has it affected your life? And he wrote this really poetic thing that I want to share with you. And it says, out there in outer space is a man suspended in time, and he can't understand how he got there or how he will escape. My life is stuck in time, yet I am moving away from usually everything. I really want to understand and learn in time to jump in and touch the number one thing. The number one thing is my love, Ray. In my opinion, time will not wait for me to overcome pandas. Upon further piloting my ship to outer space, I will one day land on your pilot's own planet of too many missed opportunities.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful and so profound and just so wow. Yeah. And insightful if you think about it. It is, yeah, it makes you think, right? And your whole experience. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. It is beautiful and also very profound and very deep. And yeah, thank you. What would you say is the biggest misconception about non speakers with autism?
That we don't have hopes and dreams of having a family like everyone else.
Yes. Yeah. That's a big one and a good one. A lot of people, like I said, I wasn't even thinking about that until I saw his question. And yeah, a lot of people, you know, don't even think about that. They don't even think that they have thoughts, let alone hopes and dreams of having a family and getting married. So yes, thank you so much. That's a good one. And I yeah, I love hearing it. What are your thoughts about the people who are trying to discredit spelling as a viable means of communication?
They are naysayers who are working to deny our basic human right to communication. We are non-speaking, but we aren't non-thinking. I would like to have an opportunity to spell for Asha to show them we are brilliant but trapped in our bodies.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to shut down your human right. Your right to be able to communicate, and that is not okay. And absolutely, I would love to see you spell for them, because once they see it, it's hard to unsee it or to not believe it. And I fear sometimes that they might see it and kind of hopefully they not like that, but I would hope that they're really not motivated by the money so much that they might just ignore it, because that's the world we live in. But yes, thanks for sharing that. Absolutely. You have a right to communicate, and we need to continue to fight for it to be accepted by all, because it matters. Your voice matters, right? Next question. Please share any advice for parents who are thinking about starting Spell to Communicate with their non-speakers, but they're still on the fence about it.
I would say don't hesitate. Start yesterday. Release them from their prisons of silence.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is a prison of silence. Yeah, I think about that with my son and seeing him sometimes not being able to communicate. It is hard, and I would hope that any parent that finds out about spelling doesn't wait because I just interviewed someone who said every day that a non-speaker doesn't have a means of communication is traumatic. And that really just made me I was just like, yeah, that is so true. So yeah, I'm hopeful that parents that see or hear about spelling don't think twice, and there's nothing to lose, right? You at least you're going to be just giving your child an opportunity to communicate. Then thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you guys so much for being willing to share your story, and for just Zane, for your willingness to advocate and want to share your story with everyone to help other non-speakers have a voice. I'm so thankful for what you do daily. Your videos are so helpful. And I'm so thankful for you, Dana. You're such an amazing mom for Zane, and everything you do is so inspiring for us. Other non, parents of non-speakers. For me as a young mom, I'm just thankful for what you share, and it helps me, have insights to be able to understand my son. And I just think you're amazing, and you're doing such an amazing job with him.
Oh,
And
thank you. Right back at you. I think you're amazing. I love watching how you're just spreading the word for all non-speakers everywhere. Just so inspired by what you're doing.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can get notified whenever I post new episodes. Until next time.